Hi everyone, my name is Melanie Ramos. I'm a part of Miss Harvey's 5th period AP Lit class, and I'm super nervous. You guys are probably super tired, so just bear with me. Together we'll make something beautiful. So, go to the next slide. So, my why question was, why does our childlike imagination diminish as we grow older? And next slide. So, who can raise their hand and identify this place for me? We'll go next. Yes, next slide, please. Ashley was right. This is Foster's home for imaginary friends. So, for those of you who didn't have that much of a childhood, maybe, and missed out on this amazing show, the basic plot line of the show was these children, all of them had imaginary friends growing up, but then sooner or later, at one point in their life, they ended up getting rid of their imaginary friends, and the imaginary friends would be put up for adoption. You know, we had to follow the adventures of Mac and Blue, but basically, my question revolved around, like, why exactly do we have to leave behind these childhood imagination friends of ours? And go to the next slide. So, why is imagination important to me? So, for those of you who know me, I was born, like, obviously I was born, and my mom, she moved to Boston. My dad stayed here in Chicago, so I spent majority of my life in Boston, and it was just me, my sister, and my mom. We all lived in like this really big house, and you know, my mom, like the Dominican, she wanted to work all the time, no play, no fun, no anything. And my sister, she was growing up way too quick, so she just wanted to hang out with a lot of her friends. So me, being the loser child that I had no one to play with. I was bullied, so I didn't have any friends, ox. And so the only thing that I really had was my imagination, and yes, I played with dolls for a very, very long time, way longer than anyone probably should have. And I played with dolls. I would write stories, I would draw pictures, I would do a bunch of things. I would like make my own little dumb movies with these dolls. And I actually did that for such a long time because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I did this till I was 12, and that was very embarrassing. But when I was 12, I moved during the middle of 7th grade from Boston to Chicago, and that was when I realized, hey, it's time for me to grow up, leave behind these childish things, because something just told me that this isn't right. Like, I should not be a 12-year-old girl still playing with dolls. And yeah, next slide. Oh, I haven't like written a story or anything since sophomore year. That's kind of sad. So where else has this happened? These are actually my two younger half-siblings, Ariana and Sophie. Ariana is 9 years old, Sophie is 7. And Ariana was like my best friend when I was little. You know, when I first met her, she was actually like a year and a half. And so when I moved from the middle of 7th grade, she was 3, and of course when I first moved here, I had no idea who to talk to, so I would just talk to her all the time, and we would actually play with dolls all the time. And I was the one who taught her like how to use her imagination, and I was the one who taught her how to play with dolls. And so it was really hard during that transition of like growing up, like trying to explain to her it wasn't because I didn't want to play with her, it's just because I didn't want to play dolls anymore because I was a grown woman, apparently. So then she began playing with her younger sibling, Sophie. So they would play dolls together for a very long time, and up until January of this year, they were homeschooled their entire life. So they would just sit at home, you know, learn all the basic mathematical stuff and reading, and actually in their free time, they would always draw me a bunch of creative, amazing things, and they would play with dolls all the time. And ever since they started school in January, they just altogether dropped, like, playing dolls. They stopped drawing pictures for me. They stopped writing cards, all that type of stuff. And so I'm just basically, like, making the connection between school and creativity. And, yeah, so they haven't done anything that much fun for a while. Next slide. So is this a real issue or not? So I decided to take this beyond my own personal story, and I decided to interview 2 sets of people. So the first set of people that I interviewed was a boy and a girl. They're both 17, and I basically asked them questions about their imagination when they were younger, and about their imagination right now. And the most interesting perspective for me was probably the boys, because he fit along with like what my idea was. So I asked him at what age did he begin to like lose this imagination of his and why. And he said he began to lose it around the age of 13, and it's because around that age it's like a societal expectation that you're supposed to grow up and you're supposed to get along with school and you're supposed to rely on basic facts instead of what you used to believe when you were little. And the girl, on the other hand, she would talk to me and she would say that her imagination was influenced by those around her. So it's like if she saw something, for example, her mom, she like thought her mom was beautiful, so she would always imagine herself looking like her mom. And after that, I asked two younger children, and I asked them about their imagination as well. So then they, the most interesting perspective, again, was the boy, because I asked him, does having an imagination, like, is it hard? And he said it wasn't hard at all, it was just, it sucks sometimes. And I asked him, you know, why do you think it sucks? And he said, it sucks because I have to realize one day that half of the stuff that I imagine is not real. So it's, like, really sad to realize that a child so young, he was, like, 8, so I consider that still pretty young, but he just completely gave up on, like, his childhood dreams and stuff. So that I thought that was pretty sad, but that's it. It's fine. So where is this influence coming from? From the personal interviews, I believe that the influence is coming from like a societal expectation that like we have to grow up eventually in our lives, and also like all this research that I did was like I found facts on schools on how they were shutting down all their music and arts programs, and what I found out was that 95% of children today, they attend schools in which their music and arts programs have been cut off completely. And as the years go by, music and arts programs in schools, they're going to be cut off inevitably because, you know, schools don't think that music and arts program is necessary for a child's development. But that's actually not true at all, because there was a research on how this young student who attended Howard University, and they asked him, you know, how did the music and arts programs, how did that influence like the way that you grew up? And he said, if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't have found my voice and I wouldn't have found my passion of what I wanted to do when I grew up. So music and arts programs, definitely a good thing. So why should we as a society be concerned? I said, we as a society should be concerned because for the past 50 years, you know, the amount of times that children like play, like it's been steadily on the decrease. And we all know, you know, we can blame it on technology, we can blame it on a parent's influence. But while these numbers of children like losing their imagination has been decreasing, the amount of like teen anxiety and teen depression has been increasing at the same exact time. So the rates of what today would be diagnosed as anxiety disorder and major depression are 5 to 8 times